Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Thursday, May 11th, 2023. Another interesting day. Today we had PPI, and it really didn't do much. In fact, CPI gave a little bit better reaction. Off base, but still a better reaction. So we got the PPI. We got initial jobless claims. Those are all out of the way. The market basically just kind of flipped and flopped around for a little bit and then really started to just hit the skids, at least in the S&P, the Dow, the Russell. The NASDAQ saw this additional influx of capital coming in. Got to be placed in tech. Got to do it. And they did. And so we saw a brief period where the NASDAQ actually did slip into the negative, but did rally back and ended up closer to the highs of the day versus the lows of the day. So let's take a look here at the NASDAQ at the hourly chart. I'm continuing to count a minor fifth wave up, and that minor fifth wave, so let me just kind of pull this out a little bit without getting it all messed up. We got a little bit of lines. You can see we got the A, the B. I'm in the C wave, the intermediate degree C wave. And within that intermediate degree C wave, which will consist of 5 waves of minor degree, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're in that minor fifth wave. And taking it back down to the hourly chart, within the minor fifth wave, I believe, because I'm going out on a limb, and I'm actually going to put some labeling on this chart tonight, that I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the minute degree. So we're in minute 5 of minor 5 of intermediate wave C of primary wave B. So I believe that we are getting pretty dang close to the completion point. And it does appear in grand fashion that the NASDAQ will finish this whole move with a minute fifth wave diagonal triangle. And again, I appreciate all the input that I get from subscribers and people that come in and leave comments, because it was suggested to me a couple of times. And initially, I didn't necessarily see it, but now it makes sense. And I have the ability to actually put the diagonal together. So a bunch of 3s all the way up. We'll be looking for 5 to kind of complete. Maybe it already is. Because again, today we did manage to push to an additional new high, came in right there at 13,467. And I thought we got higher than that. What is that one? It couldn't have been. Yeah, we did 13,470. I know we got up there and made it a slight new high, but looking for it to kind of come up and maybe possibly pierce the top of this. So within it, I think we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe a little bit more to go. Don't know for certain. So we're going to let this kind of just play out. If they continue to push funds and money into the NASDAQ, then possibly Apple will catch fire. And what may also give it a little bit of support is tomorrow is, of course, a weekly expiration. And that includes all of the NASDAQ stocks. And as the underlying, they all have options that expire. What did catch fire today? Well, we had Google catch fire today. We had Meta pick up the perks at the end of the day. We had Microsoft start to recoup, but one was interesting, and that was our friends over at Tesla. Why did Tesla rally? Well, according to the news, it's because Elon Musk has found a new CEO for Twitter. So he'll be able to go back and devote his undivided attention to SpaceX and to Tesla. More so to Tesla, possibly. Who knows? But in any case, the stock did pop, contributing to some upside here in the NASDAQ. So once again, the moving averages, they continue to point higher. Now, we got the 200 EMA crossing back above the SMA, which is starting to already just go flat. All this activity, up, down, it just, well, we're tired. We're just going to go flat. The 50 still cruising up, but not with the same intensity. The 20 is still there, the 4 and the 8 still there, but looking like they want to turn. So again, can't say it's going to happen tomorrow in the opening, can't say it could happen overnight. But we have now channel lines that should contain the additional upside with a pop above, but then a quick bring it back below. We'll see. Let's see how this all plays out. But I do think we're in the final stretch here. Now, next up, right there, 13,516. It would be a very fitting end to the whole deal. 1.236, where minor wave 5 would be 1.236 times the length of minor wave 1. Very fitting. Third wave, minor 3, still beats it all by a country mile. So no interference in terms of wave 3 being the shortest. No interference on that level. In fact, wave 5, being this nicely subdivided move, still is going to be greater than wave 1, but without any real problems. In fact, it already is, because at 34.18, that was that marker, and we've already been above it more than once. So look for that possibly tomorrow. I really think it's like they may stretch this out. They may decide they got a little bit more oomph to it. But just structure-wise, I am really thinking that we are beginning to just come to a conclusion here within this whole thing. Over in the S&P, it is a different story. The Dow was down all day. The Dow was down heavy at one point. The S&P appeared that it was going to go back down and retest the 4,100 level. And in terms of if this is going to be wave 1 of 5, this is wave 2 of 5. But I have to tell you, the weakness continues to tell you, wow, we're having trouble getting back above 4175, let alone 4200, let alone 4250. Those are the targets for an upside move to finish at. The market's having a lot of trouble getting up there because of the heaviness in the banking sector, because of the weight of this continued exercise in trying to just really push it to the limit on the debt ceiling conversation. That remains a big part, with now the Speaker of the House making an announcement that he didn't really think that it was worthy of him or other leaders meeting tomorrow as requested by the president at the last meeting. We'll meet again on Friday to recap, to bring back into the forefront. Well, McCarthy's already said that he doesn't have any reason to go. So they're just going to send staff. Interesting. Tick-tock, Mr. Speaker. Tick-tock. But they think that they can really play into the hands of the whomevers to get what they want. And I'm afraid they're playing with fire, and someone's going to get burned. And unfortunately, it's going to end up being our economy, our markets, etc. So here in the S&P, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Huge failure even to wave 3. Even larger failure if we're using wave A, and this is completing wave C. Huge. So what could possibly be going on? Well, if this is 5, I'm going to have to call it something. With the NASDAQ coming so close to being done, I can see how the NASDAQ would go up versus the others going down. But the S&P's a lot of struggle here against a NASDAQ or the major tech companies pretty much putting in decent performances today. So what happens if the NASDAQ decides to give it up? It's reached its top. So this may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I am just postulating right now, maybe the what ifs. If we're counting this as 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, or AB, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We do get down here, and then we still at some point rally above. Again, so much would have to fall into place for the NASDAQ to fall and the S&P and the Dow and the Russell to go ahead and take a good surge higher. So we got a lot on the table right now. And so I think that we have to continue to trade the S&P, leaving open potential that, yep, it may just turn around and decide it's got something to do and get itself up to 42.05, 42.25, or 42.50 up in that area. Because again, just kind of pull it up. We look here at the 4-hour chart. There's the wave A. Wave C should, and I say should, not does it has to, but if we're getting a failure all the way around in this wave, it would be indicating, in my view, massive weakness in this index, massive weakness in these stocks. What's going to bring it down? A bank failure? Very possible. That the debt ceiling conversation goes real bad, pushing the reality of a possible default and shutdown right up into everybody's face in the market. And if we got to go over a weekend, by the time we get back in, it's May the 15th. We got 16 days, and basically you can't count the weekends for them to get something done, unless forced by the president that they have to negotiate over a weekend or late into the night or whatever the situation is. So don't forget, this is kind of a standoff. We had the president just the other day saying that the United States will not default on its debt. We never have, we never will. And I'm quoting him. So it's like, Mr. President, I have learned never to say never, particularly when it comes to the market, because it can, and it just might turn and dissolve upon itself. So I am leaving open that internally now, what we may need to do is to drop down, get back down into this area. Again, a break below 40.60, in my view, caps this thing all off. Unless this truly is a much, much bigger corrective move, and I got to back this whole thing up. And I'm telling you, seriously, got to back this whole thing up, because, wow, is it really a C wave then? Is it a C wave diagonal of some sort? Possibly. Maybe. So we got a couple of potential things. Let me go back out to that 4-hour. Potential things, but not necessarily written gospel, right? That's a 3. This is a 3. This is a 3. Up to here, that's pretty sloppy. That was a 3. No. A, B, C could be a 3. 4. I don't know. There's, the first, a second, a third, a fourth, and who knows? So we have a lot of possibilities still on the table, which is why I leave open. And I'm not labeling this chart yet. It's too inconclusive. So here's downside support. We got all the way down, almost to 20, which, by the way, for those of you that may use Bookmap, via Bookmap, there were pretty large resting orders at 41.20. So we're waiting for them to come down. They act like an anchor, right? They anchor to come on down, fill me, fill me, fill me. And it draws like a magnet to that level. I was looking for something to go down and test 4,100 again, which is what we thought they could do here. Where we got down to, what we get down to? 41.12. So at least if I'm going to get an A, a B, and a C, then I've been looking for it to come down and retest down in here. possibly is this low. A break below here, pretty much, I think seals the deal that we're done. Upside's all in and we're done. And that would mean that I'm going to back it up again and put the 5 here. This becomes ugly. It does, but well, you know, again, I figured out once, I probably could figure it out again. But we'll see. None of that. This is all still open here in the S&P. There was plenty of weakness today. Plenty of trips down to try to test this 4120 area, which for today was important. Tomorrow would be maybe something different. All right, so moving averages getting pretty flat here. We can just push this open a little bit more and you're going to see it. Flat, flat, flat. Even the 20 was flat right into the end of the day. Tail, tail, tail. That was the kind of day that we had. So we'll look for this resolution tomorrow. I am going to wish everybody a great trading day. It wasn't the easiest, but it wasn't the hardest today. It just got to a point where you're like, uh-oh, here we are just going to sit in a range and go back and forth and chew on it for a while. And that's not very inducive to come in and trade. So it was almost like trading by appointment. So I am going to wrap it up and leave it right there for the week. I'm going to wish everybody a fine weekend, but also a great trading day tomorrow. And the next update will be on Sunday, May the 14th. And hopefully I will get it together and produce a big picture update on Saturday, and then just an Elliott wave update on Sunday after the Globex opens. Have a great weekend, everybody, and have a great trading day tomorrow.